So, good people, y'all know how we do. We always do that lovely segment we call Two of a Kind, where we compare two things like waffles, pancakes, all those stuff. We always got to bring in the grill, right, Ro?
Yeah, we got to bring in the grill.
We got to bring in the grill. So, I'm going to just ask you, Ro.
Yeah.
What's the best way to prepare your food? The house stove, a gas grill, or a charcoal grill? I had to slip in three of a kind on this one.
Okay, so I'm a little biased because I don't like. Listen, I might lose my black card for this, so y'all might not invite me back to the picnic. But I don't really like the smell of barbecue with the grill marks. I know that's like a weirdo thing. I know. But see, that's why I speak for people, because I know I'm not the only one like it. People just be scared and they be eating that barbecue. They don't like how it's all black and crusty. Yeah. I don't like that. I'm not like, ooh, that's good. No, it's terrible. It tastes like some damn charcoal and I don't want to be bothered. Mm-hmm. So I think personally, I'm old school, come from a huge family of cooks. You know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I'm a gas stove girl. You got to use a gas stove. Yeah.
Let me tell you. I cannot stand a gas stove.
What?
I don't like a house gas stove. No. I don't like the ones outside. Don't get me wrong. I eat anything, y'all. Yeah. Y'all know that. But the thing about me, when it comes to barbecuing, I like the old-fashioned way.
Wait. I'm sorry.
Feel like you in the campfire or you camping or something. You know, you got to bring in that charcoal. But go ahead.
Okay, wait. No. You're right. Okay. So I'm saying a general gas stove. My bad. So gotcha. I'm going to go with the outside grill. I'm in with you on that. For 4th of July only. Okay. I will make an allowance for that. But in general, I guess I was thinking, my bad, electric stove, gas stove, you say grill. And I will say this, though. My daddy makes some hell of a barbecue. I don't know how this man does this, but he uses the broiler, and he uses the oven.
Shout out to Uncle Nick.
Come on, Uncle Nick. Woo-woo. You know, so yeah, I agree. When it come down, we dealing with family reunions, 4th of July, cookouts. Outside gatherings, you got to use a regular grill. You got to. Okay, but let me ask you this. Yeah. In terms of a regular grill, do you prefer it to be gas or charcoal? Do you have a choice? I mean, I typically don't care, because I will say this. Even though I'm not a super fan, I do mess with a good hamburger. You know what I'm saying? Or a hot dog on the grill. And I don't really care. I like those. But the ribs and the chicken and stuff, sometimes I kind of don't be feeling all the charcoal. But yeah, I think I'll go with the charcoal.
See the thing about me, I don't think I could ever buy an outside gas grill.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm dragging my stove in the backyard. And I'm like, that's the purpose of me getting, okay, if I wanted to cook on the stove, I'll just stay in the kitchen. Okay. I like them lines in the chicken and in the wieners, because it felt like I was camping and I just actually cooked my food over the campfire.
So you like it for aesthetic purposes?
I love it.
Yeah, you like aesthetics.
Yes.
Okay, I get it. I'm not mad at it.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that a gas stove, whether it's outside or inside, I'm not saying the food doesn't come out good. It still does.
Yeah.
But it's something about, like how you mentioned earlier with the lines. The lines on the chicken look good to me.
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
Yeah, I feel you. For that, for sure. I think full on charcoal grill, no gas, old school lines. Yeah, 100% for the July. Yeah. And Juneteenth, of course.
Juneteenth, of course. You know we got to bring Juneteenth in. Yeah.
You know it.
Okay, so the next topic on Two of a Kind, and this is another Three of a Kind, Ro. And look, Ro talked to me a lot about dating and all that stuff long time ago, dating books and all that. So I had to bring this one in for you. So what is the best way to meet a potential mate? Is it through online dating, social media, or in person?
I might have to say 4. I have one that you didn't say. My personal opinion about that, I think the best way to meet people now is through someone else. That's my assessment. I think kind of because the world is kind of crazy and you have a bunch of weirdos and people kind of just, doing whatever. I'm not a huge proponent. I don't do online dating or anything like that. I'm not opposed to it. But I think the best that I've seen so far, the feedback from my girls, it's, my cousin friend. My cousin brother, my brother's classmate from college, my sister's sorority sister, that for the guys. So it's you're always hearing like through other people, You know what I'm saying? That's what I think.
That's funny you brought that in because I never thought of it like that. But what's so funny as you say that, it makes me think about people I know that did meet people through
other
a friend.
people. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
because I'm convinced that you and my cousin are probably going to meet your wives through me.
You think so?
I think so. I think I know, because y'all are my brothers. Y'all my cousins, brothers, whatever you want to call it.
So she's our little sister.
Yeah, right. So it's like but I always think that, and my cousin gets mad, but don't worry, but we're not going to do that on this show.
Okay, well, let me say this.
Go ahead. What you got?
I always try to make this a debatable show,
Okay,
baby.
go ahead. Let's go.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
You know how we are as brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been hooked up a million times. And one reason it don't work out because either I don't like the person or the person don't like me. So it's like, and and then here's the thing about women that trip me out about y'all. Y'all always like, oh, my friend is nice. She nice. She look good. She dressed up. She got a good. She nice. And when we brothers hear that, we like, okay, she what, big as a whale or whatever.
Wow, really, dude?
That's what we thinking to ourselves. And then when we meet her, we like, it's kind of like the scene from Friday, when
oh my God,
when Chris Tucker kept asking about old girl, then we finally saw. So, but see, that's the only thing because in a way it turns into a blind date.
Yeah.
And that's why. Don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to that because I have been on blind dates before, and I'm like, damn, she looked good.
Yeah.
But then maybe she didn't like me.
Right.
So sometimes it's like that. So and that's that's a clever idea. What you're saying. I just wish we brothers weren't as visual as we are.
Yeah.
Because I think we do miss out.
You do miss a lot of good people. And I'll tell you something too. Like, no, you do have a point with that because also if you have a friend group and then it doesn't work out, it can be awkward, like later.
Yes.
So there is that, but I think that there's a drawback to everything. I would prefer it not be like some psycho crazy killer from the internet.
Yeah.
Than you knowing that y'all just didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? And
You're right
you
about
might
that.
see them every now and again. Now, I will say this. You're right. Like, brothers, you guys are very visual. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm learning too, like if you take I think people are starting to get really hip to the whole spiritual path of it.
Yes.
And as you get older, you just require something that has more girth and it just more, has a foundation. And then you start to think about stuff that, I guess for me, I always had a different filter because I lost my mom so young and I saw what her and my dad had. So I was never highly superficial looking for somebody because I had in the back of my mind, well, if I got sick and I wasn't like a super baddie anymore or whatever, I'm not saying I'm a super baddie, but I wasn't cute or I wasn't young and whatever, or, I got sick young or something. Would that person be able to be there?
Yeah.
Because
that's
it's
true.
like, oh,
that's
well, you
true.
fat, you sick, I don't like you no more. Now you ugly. You know what I'm saying? So we, that's why I think too, I might be a little partial to the connecting and meeting people because my parents met on a blind date.
Wow.
And my daddy didn't really bite the first time. Can I tell you that story right quick?
Yeah,
okay, so let's talk about it.
I gotta hear this.
I
gotta hear this one.
I will say my parents are beautiful. Both of my parents are very beautiful people. My dad is a hot boy, always been like super. He's 80. He look about 60, right?
He does.
So
he does.
Dad and my mom. So like, there's this place in Marrero that's in Louisiana near New Orleans called the Brass Rail, and so my dad was with his cousin, and he was like, "Man, let's go to the Brass Rail." Now, mind you, my mama is like, I'm 5'8". My mom was like 5'2". She was like short and fine, like super cute girl, but just a nerd, don't smoke, don't drink, salutatorian in school. My dad like hot boy all over the world at Southern. He playing drums. He in the military. I mean, he just doing all kind of stuff, right? So they went in, and so when him and his cousin went, and then my mom and her cousin were in there, and they were boys, like they knew each other. Everybody was cool with each other. So when they walked up, it's like, man, they met each other. It's like, oh, hey, how you doing? But it wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, okay, how you doing? My daddy was kind of just all over the place in a bar, whatever. And it was weird because, y'all, my mama never went to no bar. Listen to me, Stan the Man. My mama was super good girl. You hear me? Your girl wasn't with all that, okay? So I knew it was like divinely ordered, so nothing really happened. Okay. So about 6 months later, they went back to the Brass Rail. They weren't talking or nothing. It was nothing like that. Well, when my dad walks in, he was looking down, on the ground. I don't know if he dropped something, but when he looked, he was picking his eyes up and he saw my mother's legs.
Whoa.
So he said to his cousin, he said, bruh, he said, whoever them legs for, I'm going to marry her. And it was my mama. It was my mom. Ain't that crazy?
That is a wonderful story.
Yeah. So I mean,
love that.
Yeah. You just never know. You know.
You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing for me, I hear those stories a lot when people say like, "Oh, it was love at first sight."
Yeah.
I saw her. My little sister tell me that a lot about my parents, because my daddy saw my mom and he was like, "I'm gonna marry that girl one day."
Yeah.
But you know why I always have a problem with certain stories like that?
Yeah.
It's because I had situations like that happened for me, and I say, "Okay, I know this is ordained." And and then it didn't work out. I'm like,
your flesh ordained it though.
Man,
P. Willie.
But look, I'm gonna say this story. I ain't gonna mention the girl's name. One time, I really thought I met my wife.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is what it was. I was at a Clark Atlanta's graduation.
Okay.
I wasn't teaching there full time at the time, because usually when we teach full time, we got to walk without cap and gowns.
Yeah.
So I was just in the stands. So I saw this girl sitting down, and she was kind of sitting by herself. It was a funny, because Clark Atlanta's graduation is in a stadium, outside football stadium. So she was sitting in this chair. I think it was like where scouts sit, and it was kind of like an isolated chair. And I saw her sitting, just holding the flower, smiling. I say, what is she, a queen or something? No. So I asked her then, and she was like, oh, no, my sister's graduating. And I just kept talking to her, and I remember she was looking forward, and she would never look at me. I said, okay, I guess she's just not into me. So then I smelled some coffee, and I say, oh, I know what I'll say. I say, would you like some coffee? I'm going to get some. Then she looked at me for the very first time.
Yeah.
I said, yes, I would. Now, here's why I thought it was love at first sight, or I thought it was going to work out.
Yeah.
I go to the coffee line. It was a lot of people in line. I swear it was like maybe 100 people in line. I say, oh, Lord, this girl going to say, this Negro ain't going to coming back with no coffee.
Yeah.
So something told me go to the front of the line. I went to the front of the line. I swear they had like 3 or 4 guys. And I didn't even say anything to them. I just walked up to them and looked at them, and they say, oh, man, you want to come with us? Hey, yeah, you with us.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then the lady say, okay, we ran out of coffee. I'm like, okay, there it is, 30 more minutes. Then the lady took 2 cups of coffee and said, I had 2 cups of coffee right here. Who needs them? Nobody said anything.
So you thought that was a divine message, Lord.
And but there's more.
Okay.
Then we talked and talked and talked. Guess what happened right after the graduation? She said, oh, wait right here. I want you to meet my parents.
Okay.
So who introduces you to their parents on the first date? This is not a first date.
You're in fairy tale land, my boy.
And I'm like, no, but then it gets better. Then it gets, and I'm not going to go into the specifics of the next thing I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But when we talked over the phone, she was talking about things in terms of how we are as Christians, that certain beliefs she had.
Sure, that you had, right.
And I say, what? So we dated and everything went fine, but then it didn't work out.
Why didn't it work out?
Well, it's a long story on that.
You need to give me the short version.
I have to tell you off mic on that.
Okay.
But put it this way: when I tell you why it didn't work out, you'll be like, okay, something was wrong with her. When I tell you that, so I ain't gonna blast it like that. So I'm gonna just move on. We'll talk about it off the air. So anyway, but I guess I'm only saying that because when I hear stories like this, when people say, oh, they met on the first, they saw each other, whatever, I say, I love that story. But I'm like, okay, but why that don't happen for everybody? Because I could give you about 2 or 3 more situations where I thought the person was for me. It was just how it lined up. I don't know. But like you said, maybe it should have been more of a spiritual thing. Maybe I was in the flesh. I don't know.
Yeah, so, and I'll say this to you as well. I think sometimes it's just time to try a different approach. I think that people just don't like to switch up things that they're comfortable with.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
That.
So if you decide, like, you know what, hey, I really want my person. So when you start to shift your mindset, you're like, no, I want my person. And then what ends up happening is that's when you say, okay, and not to get spiritual, but to get spiritual. Like you want somebody that is literally heaven sent. Why? Listen, it is 7 billion people in the world, and I tell this to people all the time. They're like, okay, because this is a debate. Maybe we can talk about this another day. They're like, do you think there's just one person for each person? Like, that's a huge debate. Like, if it's just,
now I don't believe that.
So no, but that is a huge thing, right? So I don't. Like I said, I'm not gonna get into that now. But what I will say is, I do think that when you're asking about those 3 options about, how you meet somebody and all of that, I do think it's important to consider the source. you have to think about who you are as a person. If you are already a serial dater and you like to date a lot, I think that the perfect complement for you is online dating. You know what I'm saying? Because you have an array and you have a variety. Yeah. But if you are a person that likes to date and everybody got to be a baddie and everybody got to have like this, oh, she got this. One thing, too, I tell women all the time, pay attention to men that's too nitpicky. Oh, she got this wrong, she got that, because life is going to life. A person is not always, I'm looking at my ankles, now I got a little ash on me. Yeah. I forgot I ran out the house. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I got to put a little lotion. But you have men that are like, oh, she don't have this, I don't like her. Like, you're completely disqualifying people for really weird stuff. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, you still living, P. Willie. You can still meet that person. And that's why I said, just go back to connecting on a spiritual level, because then you can. Why can't you just say to your creator, hey, I want love at first sight? Say, I want us to be two people that want each other at the same time.
I like that.
We in sync with each other.
Hey, God, you listening, man?
Come on. Hey, hallelujah. Woohoo. You know? Okay.
Now, let me get back to this online dating thing.
Oh, go.
The reason I'll do online dating. Currently, I'm not on any apps. I was on POF before, Black Voices back in the day and all that. Mm-hmm. The main reason I have a problem with online dating, and it's and I even listen to YouTube videos about this, and I even heard women tell guys that they most likely are not going to meet women doing online dating. Not that they will not, but it's just a lower chance. And here's why. Y'all get so many responses on online dating. Like, I knew a girl, and she was an attractive woman, but I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, she probably was like a 7.
According to you.
But and I'm only going about physical. Yeah. Okay. But she used to say, I get like 90 messages every day. And I'm like, okay, now think about the girl that's a 10. And the point I'm making is that now I'm competing with all these brothers, and this girl truly don't know who I am. I'm going to say some good things about me, and she be like, oh, yeah, but I don't know. I got to go search through all these messages. But again, I'm not opposed to it. But what I love about doing, I'm more of a traditionalist. I love doing the in-person thing. I like catching women off guard. Like, I'll see a woman in the coffee shop. She just doing her thing, whatever, and she not even thinking about no man. At least I'm thinking she not.
Yeah.
And then I'll just walk up to her and say, excuse me, I saw you from far away. I say she look really cute. I might compliment her hair, whatever it might be.
Hey, y'all, excuse me, y'all.
It worked for me a
P. Willie has no game. just dropping that in there. Stand a man is not the man. Okay, continue, buddy. I'm listening.
No, but honestly, it worked. It works out mainly when I meet women in person the traditional way. And I'm not saying it's going to turn into a long-term thing and so on. But the point I'm making is that it turned into dates. We did go out.
Yeah.
Because the traditional way is, look, I even heard, just recently, I heard a woman, talking on our podcast about this. She said, the reason why you guys should approach us, she said, because first of all, we're not going to approach you.
Yeah.
She said, sometimes we'll see a guy that we want to talk to us, but he's not going to talk to us. She said, so guess who I talked to? The first guy
who gonna say something.
Yeah.
And we don't. And sometimes we're just not paying attention.
Yes.
Like, and I'll tell you something that I experienced a lot. I'm usually doing things dolo. You know what I'm saying? I'm very independent. I'm always traveling. Gotcha. I'm always kind of by myself, and I enjoy that. I go to dinner by myself. I have a very healthy sense of self. I do too. Yeah. I enjoy my own company. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how come when I was like, oh, I want a relationship, I knew I was ready because I knew if that person came in and left, I was still 100 by myself, right? So I think sometimes people don't realize, like, in that approach part, like, when I go out with friends, or especially like little girls, like my nieces, or it's weird. It's like the younger ones and the really older ones, like older mentors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like every time they're like, God, you see him staring at you, they looking at, and I am completely oblivious. Now, mind you, I am completely paying attention to, like, do I need to pull out a shank, or do I, I'm always on guard like that. Yes. But I'm not necessarily like, oh, everybody looking at me and they think I'm cute. I'm not even paying attention to that. And I think something that will probably help dating more is not to approach it like being perfect, but I think you just need to know what you carry. Yeah. You need to take time. Listen, I'm like if you go by body type, you gotta, some people say, oh, you gotta be built like this, but I know for me, if you're looking at a full package, I know I'm high up there in the ranks only because I can carry so much weight. You know what I'm saying? And I also know when I'm at my best physically, I'm totally a 10. If it's by, you know what I mean? If I don't have extra weight, but again, I don't really like people who compare people by numbers because it's different for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You got some men who only talk to light-skinned women. My little nephew, he only like women. My color, I'm a good brown color or darker. People just have these different preferences, right? But I just think that when I do like that approach. And something I would add on to with what she said was, not only will we talk to the first person, yeah, and not necessarily from desperation, or it's not even that, but we will give you a chance is what I'm saying. You do have a group of women now, though, P. Willie, that will just be like, and just turn their nose up, like leave me, like, don't talk to me. We do have a nice little breed of women like that, and I just want to snatch them up and get their little tails together right now, because you do just still want to show some type of kindness and virtue when somebody's just trying to extend, to you. But I do think that's good. And if you're a traditionalist, you know how I said earlier, find the thing that fits you. That I think that might fit you. You know what I'm saying? But what you can think about too is, what do you want?
I like
that. If you just heard the woman say, you listening to me, you heard her and probably some other women, but if you know we're not paying attention, you know what I'm saying? Then you need to think, well, okay, well, am I okay with being the person who pursues? Well, you seem to be a grown man. Grown men like to pursue. Little boys like to chase. As a woman, I'm not impressed by somebody who blowing me up 40 times a day. That doesn't impress me. Chasing me, I equate that with me having to run. I'm tired.
I got
you. I don't want to do that. You chasing me on running? Look, you're not chasing me if I'm sitting here, right?
Exactly.
Brother. So I think for you, like when you think about the chase and all of that, just go a little bit more deeper with yourself. I genuinely think, just even after this conversation, you can maybe just plan a little differently now when you approach people.
That's right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And again, go back to God, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, not only do I want love at first sight, but I'm a traditionalist, right? So set up an opportunity for me to do that in a way where I'm most comfortable. And there's a woman, I can guarantee you this, P. Willie. It's a woman who's praying for your approach.
Wow.
It's a woman that wants exactly what you want to give, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Look, this is why I brought this girl on the show. She gonna drop the knowledge. Look, we could go on and on about this.
Oh, yeah. I think we might need to do a whole other show on stuff like this. Let's think about it. Y'all let us know.
Exactly. All right. Okay, so the last topic on Two of a Kind. And I had to bring this one in because Ro is deep into music, and I got a feeling I'm going to debate with her on this one.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, who's more R&B? The Weeknd or Doja Cat?
Neither one of them are R&B. A hard pass and a hard no to even Doja was mad when she got I think she got an award for R&B. She's not R&B.
Yeah, because she was looking and she was like Summer Walker, what's her name? I can't.
Ari.
SZA,
not Ari. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, this is a short topic for me. I'm done. Neither one of them are R&B.
Okay, all right.
Neither one of them.
Okay, now let me debate with you on this.
Okay.
Because I debated with one of my students about this.
Okay.
I teach a class at the great Atlanta Metropolitan State College. Just one class. All right, okay. So she did win in the R&B category. I think it was on the Grammys and maybe even on
it was the other one. It was like a Billboard. I think it was Billboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's why I say she's R&B. Now look, let me just say this. See what people don't understand about R&B, we as black people, we are so talented where they're derivatives of R&B.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, there's classic R&B. No, she's not classic R&B.
There's soul R&B.
She ain't no James Brown.
Right.
She ain't no Anita Baker, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's why I would still say she's R&B. I would say she's contemporary R&B. She and The Weeknd. Okay, and here's why. A lot of times we get our rankings from how it would help us define R&B in some cases is the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
Now Billboard been around for a long time. I think since the 50s or whatever.
Yeah.
And see, here's what people don't understand about Billboard. If you look at Billboard can't even define us as black people. They look at back in the 80s, because I used to listen to Casey Kasem Countdown back in the day, Top 40.
Yeah.
And he always used to talk about whenever he gets to like his top 5 of the countdown, he always give the number 1 song on the other chart. So he always would mention the soul chart, the country chart. At one time, the R&B charts was called a soul chart. You know what else it used to be called?
What?
Billboard. You can look this up. The black chart.
I
Okay, now
didn't know that.
Yeah, it used to be called the black chart.
Yeah.
Now, here's why I bring that up.
Yeah.
Because by them saying the black chart, they're basically saying these are the songs that black people like. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if there's a bunch of let's say you have 20 girls in a room, and you say, how many of y'all like Doja Cat? If they all raise their hand, then you saying she's R&B because you're black. Now, and here's another thing. Now this is where you really understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Okay, Michael Jackson Beat It. Mm-hmm. Is that an R&B song?
No.
Hell no, it's not. It went to number 1 on R&B charts.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, people don't know this. Look up this crazy song by El DeBarge called "Who's Johnny." That song
said she smiled and looked the other way. Who's Johnny?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not R&B either.
That song went to number 1 on R&B charts.
Yeah, because
these are R&B artists, I know.
Yeah.
But now I agree with you, and I agree with people when you look at The Weeknd and Doja Cat. No, they're not classic R&B, but
they're not even neo soul. They're not. No, wait, they're not neo.
I would say they're contemporary R&B because, in other words, we as black people like different types of music. Like, do you think about it? Rap is a derivative of R&B.
Right.
So rap is still, in a way, considered R&B.
But then there's also hip hop because hip hop came from.
Yeah.
You have rap, hip hop, and there was a split there. So for me.
Okay. Go ahead.
The way I would answer the debate is I would create a category, and
go.
I would put The Weeknd and Doja Cat in pop R&B.
Yeah.
I would create a space for them in there. They're not soul R&B. They're not black charts. They're not. They're not soul R&B. They're not classic R&B. They're not regular R&B.
They're definitely not.
They're none of the ones. So we would have to create one.
Exactly.
I would do pop if we wanted to do that because you're asking a bunch of black people. What do you think? Well, sure, but. No, like just if you're listening to music, then that's the vehicle that they're using. But to me, they make pop songs to me.
Yeah, and see, I know what people mean when they say that. Here's the only problem I have, and I'm getting a little tedious about this or whatever. The only problem I have when people saying that Doja Cat and The Weeknd are pop is that pop is not really a genre. Mm-hmm. Think about this. Pop is the short name of popular. Mm-hmm. All it means is that a bunch of people, most of America, mainstream America, which is mostly white, like this song. All you got to do is this. And I love using the 80s as an example because you can see it better if you look at 80s charts. If you look at songs from the 80s that hit the pop chart, you see a Guns N' Roses song, number 9. Number 8 would be, guess what? Anita Baker. And you're like, Anita Baker ain't pop because she's popular. Now, this particular song, it doesn't mean that she's pop. Whitney Houston is a perfect example. Whitney Houston is purely an R&B artist. If you look at the pop charts, the history of the pop charts, because I used to listen to this a lot, which mainly how I got interested in radio. Whitney Houston had songs that went to number 1 on the pop chart that you like. She had a song called "Didn't We Almost Have It All." Listen to that. That is not pop.
Didn't we almost have it all?
That song went to number 1 for 2 weeks on the pop chart, and guess what? It didn't even have a music video. Back in the day, that's what helped promote songs. So the point I'm making is that I know what people mean when they say that they're pop, and I'm not saying
because these are weird little facts that you're just pulling out the air that nobody even cares about.
Yeah, but but what I'm saying is that they should think about it because pop just means you now popular. In other words,
but Doja Cat and The Weeknd are popular right now by the world standards.
Yes. Here's another thing you gotta understand. Somebody can be pop and R&B at the same time. It ain't like they just.
That's why I said pop R&B.
Okay,
I think it would have to be a merge because I don't. You would have to give me an independent one song that if I heard it and I'm like, Weeknd, that's 100% R&B.
Gotcha.
I never heard nothing like that from them, and neither have I heard it from Doja Cat. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe her song "Streets" is a little R&B.
Okay, I'm not even familiar with it.
But no, don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
I do know what you're saying. I'm not in no way saying they're classic R&B.
Yeah.
They're not no me and Mrs. Jones type of R&B. No, they're not that. Of course they're not that. The point I'm making is that R&B music has changed from that wave that we called it back in the 60s and 70s. So they do have more of a contemporary R&B sound, and you could say pop like you said. But the thing, because see, when people, when people say pop, I'm thinking popular. A rock song and an R&B song and a country song could be on the pop charts.
Right.
Even though they have their own genre. So you can be in two different lanes at one time.
Yeah, you can.
At one time, they were calling Whitney Houston Whitney Houston. I still remember that back in the day. Because she was so much of a crossover artist. They were like, what you doing leaving the R&B chart? She can't help it if white people started liking her music.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. You are right in saying that they're not pure R&B. I totally agree.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm okay with it is when they because again they're contemporary. Now the one thing I don't like where they put her in categories with like a Summer Walker and the SZA and all that because see that's when you should get more into saying okay maybe adult R&B or classic R&B and have SZA and all that in that category then have Doja Cat in the contemporary R&B
exactly
category.
Because you look when it come to Ari, 7th Streeter, Summer Walker, you know what I'm saying? All of them, like those girls need to be in their own thing. I think Doja is dope, but not in that genre.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? She needs to be. There needs to be like a divide there. I'm a songwriter. Exactly. I write every genre. You know what I'm saying? So I have a very particular ear about who I hear and what I want it to sound like. Another one you didn't mention is Lizzo. Like Lizzo has. Let me tell you something. That girl has songs. You talking about pop? Lizzo has songs right now that you hear in the store in the mall. That's when you want a different level, okay? You can go up to China somewhere and listen to it in the elevator. That's a whole different thing. Because you're not going to be hearing who we think you should have in there, which I think she should be too. She a black girl. I'm with it. I don't care what she says.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I think at the end of the day, you know, times are just not like how they used to be.
They're not.
Another thing, too, that you got to take into account, songs are not as long as they used to be. We used to have a 3-minute, 30-second. That was Chef's Kiss for radio. Every song I'm hearing now, if they get past 3 minutes, because people, their attention spans are changing.
That's a really good point.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just hard to kind of make some of these arguments because a classic R&B song, you're looking at 32 bars, you're looking at 3 minutes, 30 seconds on average. They have 2 verses, they have the hook twice, and then you have a bridge, and then you exit out on a hook. So this is not the same. They're just doing a lot more repetitiveness and things that are just like easy to repeat. And again, that also shifts qualifying it to me, you know what I'm saying, as an R&B song. Now, you didn't want to see, because for me, I want to talk about Tiny Desk with Usher and how people talking about him and Chris Brown on Versus. Maybe we could do that on another one. That's my wheelhouse with that. But with these girls, I mean, they're all super talented. But The Weeknd is cool, but I would never say they were R&B.
Yeah,
never.
I got you. Look, I had to bring Ro in on this.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear her opinion, and I knew what your opinion was going to be.
Yeah. So, hey.
Listen to full episodes of Power Hits 101, giving you the latest in R&B, hip-hop, and cool conversation. Tune in on the Mixcloud app or at mixcloud.com.